Dubai Autodrome was the venue for the second round of the UAE National Race Day series. All three championships were in action, including the Total UAE Touring Cars, the MotorCity UAE Sportsbike Championship, and the first race of the new season for the NGK UAE GT Championship. First out on track were the touring cars, where Mohammed Al Awais pulled off a storming lap to qualify in pole position in Class 1 ahead of Ramzi Moutran.
Moutran is running a very strong car. We'll hope to keep up or see how it goes.
The lap 57 driver then got off to a flying start and quickly pulled out a decent lead over the rest of the field. From here, Al Awais never looked back. He crossed the line in first place, 8 seconds clear of his rivals. Behind him, and Nader Zahour managed to escape the technical difficulties of the last race meeting, but try as he might, he couldn't catch Al Awais and finished second. Unfortunately for Moutran, he couldn't find his winning form of the last race day and had to settle for 5th place in race 1. Ahead of him, and Costas Papantounis just managed to hold off Martin Johnson to take 2nd place, with Johnson in 4th place. And all looked good on the podium until Al Awais was relegated to 5th place for having an underweight car. This elevated Nader Zahour into 1st place, with Papantounis 2nd and Johnson 3rd. Race 2 saw plenty of action also. A fantastic drive by the Jordanian driver Nader Zahour saw him lead the race from the start, only to be pipped at the post by Ramzi Moutran after running wide at turn 16 on the very last lap. Zahour's error was compounded further, with Costas Papantounis also slipping past to grab 2nd place on the podium, leaving Zahour having to settle for a disappointing 3rd. Or so he thought. More race infringements came to light during scrutineering, this time resulting in the Greek driver Costas Papantounis being excluded from the race results for a data logging omission. This moved Ramzi Moutran into 1st, Zahour into 2nd and Martin Johnson into 3rd. Spare a thought though for Mohammed bin Ghanem. The Emirates Racing Team driver failed to start in both races after a spectacular crash during qualifying. Thankfully he was unhurt, but the shunt marked the end of his race weekend. Next out on track were the sport bikes. In the 1000cc class, Gernot Dabida was no doubt hoping to recreate his winning form of the opening race day. However, Emirati rider Nasser Al-Sheba was having none of it and led the race from start to finish to mark his maiden win in his debut race in the UAE National Race Day series. Meanwhile, there was plenty more action in the 600cc class, where the stage was set for another showdown between the two Vendetta Racing teammates, Alan Boiter and Mahmoud Tanir. After starting behind Tanir on the grid, Boiter soon got down to business, and having passed his teammate, then pulled out a comfortable lead. Tanir had no answer to his pace, and at the line it was Boiter who crossed first, 5 seconds ahead of his teammate.
I knew it was going to be a close one this weekend, this race. We qualified 100th of a second between each other, so it was always going to be close. The teammate was in front. I managed to get him in turn 1 in the first lap and just pushed it down and managed to make it stick.
Behind this pair, and the Irishman Joe Oxley turned in an inspired performance on board the Kawasaki to finish in 3rd place. It's only his 2nd season on track, so a great result for him. Meanwhile, in the 600cc rookie class, Chris Morley notched up his 3rd win of the season ahead of Ian Wilcock in 2nd and Leon Chad in 3rd. Race 2, and in the 1000cc class it was plain sailing for Gernot Dabida, who claimed 1st place unchallenged on board the BMW. Meanwhile, in the 600cc class it was the experienced Triumph riders that once again stole the day. After losing out to his teammate Alan Boiter in race 1, Mahmoud Tanir wasn't about to make it 2 in a row. After a closely fought race, it was the Lebanese rider that pulled out all the stops to cross the line in 1st place, less than half a second ahead of Boiter. Behind this pair, and Steve Blackney surprised more than a few people to take 3rd place overall, and a well-deserved place on the podium. Elsewhere, an early mistake from Joe Oxley saw him drop to 17th overall. The Irishman recovered brilliantly though to finish in 4th place. Meanwhile, the 600cc rookie class continues to provide plenty of excitement, or perhaps a bit too much excitement in the case of Ian Wilcock. The rookie rider had a brush with disaster coming through the bowl, and only a bit of impressive circus acrobatics saved him from what would have been a nasty fall. At the front though, it is Chris Morley who continued his winning form to grab top step of the podium ahead of Ian Wilcock in 2nd and Leon Chad in 3rd. Next up was the much-awaited NGK UAE GT Championship, which once again saw some serious hardware out on track. On the grid for the first time in the GTA class was the Ferrari 458 Italia, with Rob Barth and Liam Price. After qualifying in pole, it was Rob Barth who stamped his authority on the race, quickly pulling out an 8-second gap. And by the time Barth handed over to teammate Leon Price, the lead was a full lap ahead of the nearest competitor. No surprises at the finish line then, as the Ferrari crossed the line in first place. Second place went to the distinctive Lamborghini pairing of Frederic Fatian and Fabian Giraud. Behind this pair, and a great drive from Sheikh Hasha Al Maktoum and Saeed Al Maheri in the Aston Martin, saw them finish third overall, but first in the GTC class. And just behind the Aston Martin was the Porsche GT3 Cup car of Prince Abdulaziz Al Faisal. As the only solo driver in the 60-minute race, Al Faisal had his work cut out, and managed to bring the Porsche home in fourth place and first in the GTB class. So another fantastic UAE National Race Day. Join us again next time for Race Day 3.